Welcome back. Spoiler review of episode 5 of Loki. We're on the penultimate episode of the 6 episode show. My name is Max Sternberg. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Before we start with this video, please leave a like. That's the best way to support this channel. Also, comment down below your spoiler thoughts of Loki episode 5. Tell me, what are your predictions for next week's big finale? And tell me, where does this rank for you on your episodes? Is it your favorite, least favorite episode of the show so far? Is it in the middle? Let me know in the comment section down below. Also, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, streaming platform reviews, movie rankings, and a box office breakdown show. So please consider subscribing and ringing that bell for notifications. Without further ado, let's get into this review. So I was very excited for this episode because for me, 1 and 2 were fantastic. 3 for me was a bit disappointing. It wasn't awful. It was just kind of meh for me. Episode 3. And episode 4, back to form. Really loved episode 4. I still do believe that's my favorite episode of the series thus far. But episode 5 comes in. We get a great post-credit scene setting up that Loki got pruned to all of these other variant Lokis. We get Richard E. Grant's character in the film. We have in the show, we have the kid Loki with the alligator Loki. We have the Loki that kills Thor, and you have President Loki, which is, by the way, my favorite Loki so far of the non-R Loki. I love President Loki. I was cracking up the entire scene President Loki was on screen, but it was a fun setup. We get the opening. Sylvie is trying to chase down, obviously, Loki because Loki. It seems like they really set up this episode. Sylvie and Ravon Renslayer clearly need to figure out who is running the TVA, because it seems like Ravon Renslayer also doesn't know the fact. Now, I did think she was kind of coy about it, how she obviously, she has that relationship with Kang the Conqueror in the comics. So I think everyone's expecting Kang, and as do I, to show up in the finale episode. Is that the castle that they see at the end of this episode? I'll also talk about that at the end of this video. But I was kind of thinking, is Ravonna kind of obviously playing Sylvia. I thought Sylvie was already to work with her made no sense off the bat. It was a little too quick of, hey, we'll just team up and help each other. Obviously, Ravonna was going to turn on Sylvie at the end of the day. And then going through all of Miss Minutes' files. And then Sylvie prunes herself because she thinks maybe that is the answer to finding Loki. And that's what Sylvie kind of does. So for me, by far, this is the best Sylvie we've gotten the entire seasons this far. Also, the best acting from Sophie DiMartino, who I was very lukewarm on. I didn't really love. I really thought she was okay in episode 3. Enjoyed her a bit more in episode 4. And for me, this is where she really has taken her own step in this universe. She is fantastic in this episode. Her chemistry with Hiddleston is really on point. And you really do feel for Sylvie, especially these last 2 episodes. The fact that she was taken for basically no apparent reason. Obviously just because she's a Loki, but really when you look from her perspective, she was taken for no apparent reason. She just wants to figure out who is the one who really ruined her life. Obviously, Ravon Renslayer took her, but she's not the one running the TVA and creating all these rules about the timelines. She wants to figure out who truly is behind all of this. And you're really caring about the Sylvie-Loki relationship this episode, which is a carryover from last week. And it's a really romantic relationship that actually is really sweet, really nice to watch on screen. As I said, Hiddleston and DiMartino are really on point together on screen. It's a really great couple. The question is, will they remain a couple throughout this season? Possibly one could get killed, or they are Lokis and they don't really trust people. Is Sylvie even possibly using Loki? I'm not really quite sure, but at the moment, I'm loving the Sophie DiMartino, Tom Hiddleston dynamic that it's really carrying most of the emotion of the show. Mobius is back. He was also stuck in this Loki variant, I guess, world. He picks up a car, picks up Sylvie, goes down, meets up with Loki, child Loki, and Richard E. Grant's character. They escaped their little safe haven after one of the Lokis brought President Loki involved, and they all started fighting each other. The twists, the turns, it was a hilarious scene with President Loki thinking that he one-upped. All the deals were not going well because it's all Loki's negotiating it. I thought that was a really funny scene. A really funny scene that for me worked on all cylinders. for me. But again, there's a lot of great stuff. The Thanos Easter egg of the Thanos helicopter, that was really, really funny to see. Everyone was talking about that when I was watching it at midnight Pacific time. A lot of people were talking about that. But again, Richard E. Grant was really excellent. This old futuristic, I guess, Loki. He has the old school comic book look. You have child Loki, who's like become a prince of royalty. The alligator was really funny. But again, the main dynamic that worked the best in this episode, and once again, the entire season, Loki, Mobius, and Sylvie. They're clearly the three main characters. I also want to talk about that jail scene where Ravonna Renslayer is talking to B-15 about how B-15 got enchanted last week by Sylvie. That was an amazing scene. Really great stuff. B-15 I knew from Lovecraft Country, really loving her work again here in this show. And her scene with Ravonna Renslayer was a really good. They were playing games with each other. And again, they were trying to making it clear that Ravonna Renslayer doesn't know who's running TVA, which is really interesting because I think everyone knows that she has a relation with Kang in the comics, and there's so many other judges they could have picked. So again, we set up, they're about to go after the big, I guess, black hole is what it basically is. Goliath, I think is what they call it in the episode. If not, let me know in the comment section down below what they do call it. I think if they called it Goliath, they're going to go after Goliath. Richard E. Grant sacrifices himself for Loki and Sylvie. Sylvie and Loki together enchant the thing, and they see this big building of like a castle, I guess, or this mansion, whatever, and they're going to walk to it. It would make sense if this was Kang. I wonder if it's right off the bat. I would really assume, I was talking to my friend about this literally on my podcast yesterday, that Kang could easily be just a cameo in a post-credit scene, not really in the episode. I do wonder, is Miss Minutes possibly running it as well? A lot of people have been throwing that out. Is Ravonna Renslayer truly the person? But she did ask Miss Minutes to look through a lot of files on her own. She did ask in front of Sylvie, but even after that meeting with B-15, she still asked Miss Minutes for more files on who this person is, and we have to find who this person is. I really am interested in how they're going to figure this one out. It seems like obviously Sylvie is way ahead of Ravonna Renslayer, and that's what B-15 warned her, is that Sylvie, they're always one step ahead of you or a couple steps ahead of you. So overall, guys, this is a great episode, aligns perfectly. I am loving this show. As I said, 1, 2, 4, and 5, I love. 3 for me was just a bit meh for me. But still, this really could be, in my opinion, the best. This really is the best MCU show of the 3 so far. The fact that Black Widow is coming out this week. There's a lot going on in the MCU. And don't worry, I'll be back here next Wednesday doing my big season finale spoiler review of Loki. So please, guys, subscribe, ring the bell to be notified when that review comes out. So please like the video. That's the best way to support this channel. A little schedule for this weekend. Friday, my review of The Bad Batch and Black Widow will be out. Again, I'm seeing Black Widow on Thursday night. So Friday morning Pacific time, I'll be doing my review for Black Widow and The Bad Batch. Also coming, I believe, Saturday, it will be the best time for me. Maybe even Friday too. Fear Street Part 2. That review will also be coming out. And then on Monday, we'll look at the box office breakdown. And as I said, next Wednesday, season finale of Loki, spoiler fashion on this channel. So that's my schedule coming up. I'll see you guys then.